Okay, here we go. This is tutorial 2 of the finger joint die, and previous tutorial we created the sort of framework to build our finger joint die off of, which was this just basic cube. Then we built our first component, they call it, this top side of our die. In this video I'm going to make the bottom side of the die, and if I go back to the one that's all put together, this is the side we just made, and then you see it's the top. And the bottom side is going to be this piece. But what do you notice about those two? They are the same. So, same shape. Here we go. So how could I make something? I could draw it again, but that was quite a bit of work. If you recall, I had to go and make a sketch. I'll go down here to this sketch and I'll show you the sketch by double clicking. There's the sketch. Had to make a sketch, had to extrude it, had to do a bunch of measurements and things. Don't want to do that again. What I do want to do is I want to select the top level here, make that active. Then I'm going to right click on this top and I'm going to go copy. Now watch this next move. I am going to right click on the white space and I am going to choose paste new. Do not choose paste. Paste new. The difference is if you choose paste, it will look the same as what I do, but those two parts are linked. And if I change one, which means when I put the numbers on, if I put a number 1 on one of them, the number 1 will appear on the other. Sometimes that's good, but in this case we want to have the 2 on top and the 5 on the bottom, and those are different, so we better hit paste new. And when you do that, notice over here what happens. I get a top, and then I got a top copy 1. Up here a dialog box appeared. Capture position is usually what we pick. And don't ask why. Whenever it says capture position, just do it. And now these arrows are helping me because it's going to put my copy directly on top of or on the first component, the top. So what I need to do is move it out of the way. So I'm just going to move it out of the way. It doesn't matter where right now, just out of the way. So you can say that one's there and that one's there. We'll just push OK. Okay, so we have a top and we have a top. Well, I'm going to slow click this twice, and I'm going to rename this over here to bottom so I can keep track of stuff. You can rename it any time, but naming stuff is a good way to keep track of things. So I'm going to turn off my initial helper cube right now, and I'm going to go do that by shutting off the bodies here. The first cube we drew on the top level, so it's underneath these bodies. It's not underneath the components. We only have 2 components right now. So by switching on and off bodies, I can turn that body on and off. Like there's the eyeball. Can't see it now, can see it now, can't see it now. Okay, we've got these 2 identical pieces, except watch this. It's just floating. It looked like they were lined up with each other, but there's no constraints applied to get these 2 to behave like we want them to behave. They are separate, floaty, in 3D space units. I'm going to hit Control Z and move it back. Okay, so how do I get them to do what I want them to do? Well, this is what we're going to join them. We're going to assemble 2 components here. This is this. And you click Assemble. You go down to Joint. There's various ways to assemble. We'll just pick Joint for now. And when I hover over a component now, you can see I get choices basically here, little selection nodes here. We're going to pick the middle one. By the way, if you ever have trouble going to an edge and then see how it changes its orientation, oh, I gotta go back. I'll go near an edge here. And I'm coming near an edge, and then if I keep going over, it changes that symbol to a different sort of orientation by changing that disk. The way to stay on the surface is holding Control key on your keyboard, and now you are stuck to this surface. That's super helpful at times. So holding Control while selecting will keep you on the surface that you're pointing at. I don't know if that makes sense right now, but it will later. Okay, so what I'm going to do is keep in mind, if it matters which one moves to which, then the second one you pick will be the one that moves. Oh boy, now I'm starting to question myself. We're going to find out. So here we go. We're going to pick this one. We'll see if it moves. So I select the center right there. That's component 1. See, I picked it, bottom. And then I'm going to move it to the center of component 2. Yes. So the first one you pick is the one that moves. There you go, I remember now. And so that one moved to that one. Sometimes that matters. You want one to stay stationary and the other one to move. Now I've made a bit of sandwich here, but what can I do? I can create what they call an offset here. And if I drag this arrow down, I am linking these two, or jointing them, as they call it, but I can joint them at a distance. And the distance you're looking for is 1.75, because it's 1.75 in between, and 1/8 of an inch and 1/8 of an inch for the two pieces. And 1/8 and 1/8 makes a quarter. So 1.75 plus another quarter will take me to a 2 inches overall. And we'll push OK. Now, see this little symbol? That's my joint. If I double click on it, it will call up. Oh, hang on. Okay, it won't. The joint is also stored over here. This is the joint that I created, and if I right click on that, I can edit the joint. There it is. The other place that it's kept track of, down here, our timeline. I don't know if we've talked much about the timeline yet. We did in the basics video. So this here, that last move, is the joint. And if I right click on that, I could edit the joint. And I can change things if I wanted to. Like say I wanted to suddenly rotate this. I could do that using that grab handle. Okay, so we'll hit cancel on that because I don't want to change anything. But there's our joint. Now if you don't want to see these little indicators that there is a joint made here, that indicator, you can turn them off with the eyeball underneath where they're kept, under joints. There you go. So I have now created my bottom using my top, and they are joined together. If I grab this and drag it, they stay together. Okay, that was this video. The next video we're going to start making what I'm going to call sides A and B, and we'll keep going from there.